Welcome back. Season 2, Episode 10 of the Tin Talk Pod. Welcome to the pod, Savannah Shaw, a.k.a. All Day Running, a.k.a. Sav, a.k.a. Upper St. Clair's Finest, 3-time All-American, 7-time All-ACC, 7-time NCAA Academic All-American, part of NC State Women's NCAA Cross Country National Championship Team, member of Blue Mat Track Club, ex-Wolfpacker, and newest member of Tinman Elite. Welcome. How are we doing?
Thank you so much for having me.
Are you a member of Blue Mat Track Club, or do you even know what that is?
No.
So at NC State, they gave us these like really corny off-brand like royal blue Duke
I know.
colored like mats, and I think some of them still exist. But
Oh yeah, they existed when I was there, but I think I was the first one to get the black ones.
nice, big transition, much more on brand.
They were yoga mats.
Yeah.
But still, they weren't the foldable couch cushion ones.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
different.
All right, Savannah, take us through just weekly training since you've been to Boulder now for how many days now?
Oh wow, it's probably been about like 10 or 12 days, something
Okay.
like that. I came like on the 2nd of December, so probably around 10 days now. And I've got my Coros watch, so getting all those splits.
So did you pack your car up just from Boulder and then just drive straight here, or what was it all like?
Yeah, we I had been anticipating moving since like July. So I moved into my friend's house. It's Nevada Marino and Mariah Howlett on the NC team, and super loved living with them. Such a fun time, and they had some extra space for me. So all of my boxes that I thought were gonna stay there for like 2 weeks, maybe I was like, can I just stay at your house for a week? Long story short, didn't happen. But I had most of everything packed up. But it was only until recently that we realized that the U-Haul was gonna be like $3,000, and my mom was like, I'll buy you a bed instead.
That's rough.
So I got rid of everything. Same with Katie and Anthony. We all arrived with like virtually nothing.
Yeah.
Anthony had a bed at least, so getting here was just wild. Just like starting like IKEA, American Furniture Warehouse, all these places, just like going ham on like anything and everything I might need. So
I was, as I told you already on a run, I was very nostalgic seeing your Instagram stories of you driving out from Raleigh and your route and everything. And like I did the same thing. And actually the day before I left for my trip, there was this like huge storm in Raleigh. Did you ever get those like crazy thunder, like flash storms, like just seemingly out of nowhere?
Southern thing, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. And I like had my car parked at Dixie, and a tree came down on my car and like shattered my front windshield. And literally the day, like it was the night, and the next morning, 7 a.m., I was gonna like start my whole trip to Boulder. And I was like freaked out. And like, as I'm sure you can say too, like it's very nerve-wracking, you know, like leaving the place that you know and love, that you spent all that time there. And
Absolutely.
it really was one of those things where I'm like, is this some sort of like omen that's telling me like not to go right now? But I'm very glad I doubled down, you know, went straight to get the window like replaced. And
Actually made it happen. Did you like take a day later then or something like that?
I forget exactly what I did. I think it took like a day overnight. But the thing that was sucked so bad that I do remember was I didn't want to keep all like my boxes and all my clothes that I had in my like little like sedan like in the car for the repair side, to take it all out and then back in or all that.
Packing.
But yeah, it's absolute worst. I did leave like a ridiculous amount of stuff in Raleigh. That there's, I think my biggest regret is definitely my Letterman jacket.
Oh no. Oh no. My parents took that. They were like, this is coming with us.
I hope my mom has it, because I know my parents like came to Raleigh at some point and boxed up some of my stuff that I left in Dixie Trail. But that's one that I lose sleep over. Like I saw like the NC State girls like post their NCAA like celebration pictures today, and like all of them had their Letterman jacket on, and I was like, damn it, I know I'm gonna want that. Like maybe not right now, but I still want like to give it to like my daughter or my son.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? When they're younger, like that'd be pretty cool. So
it's like all big and everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, you did leave a lot of stuff in Trackhouse. I remember specifically. So to anyone who doesn't know, I came on the team right after Sam left, basically like I guess like months later. And the amount of like Sam Parsons stuff around track house was certain. We'd have all of our parties there, so you'd come in and there's like your name tag and all the like posters, and it was like ridiculous. I was like, who's this person? I don't really know him.
Yeah, exactly. That was the only way I was gonna leave my legacy, was just leaving my shit all over the house.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I was very sad to hear that the track house is no longer the track house.
I had to go and say goodbye. I was like, wow, end of an era.
Yeah, exactly. That was Craig Ingalls and I, when we first were looking for that house, we literally like went door to door on streets asking if people would sell like their house, and the guy
like rent it or sell it.
No, to sell the house.
Oh my gosh, wow.
And we knocked on 17 Dixie, and the guy was like, I've actually been thinking about it for years, but I've never had the heart to like put it on. But you guys seem like great guys, so we can like talk.
And they were wrong.
And they were absolutely wrong. And then the track house was born. But yeah, that is it. So take us through this past week of training in your first full week of training in Colorado. What was the total mileage?
Okay, I'm having trouble seeing that, but it was around 70.
Nice.
So I did.
I have noticed that you run way more than anybody else.
Really?
In terms of like your cool downs and like when we're going on our easy rides, you'll like keep going.
Here's the deal. I've been like doing pretty well like 6 days.
Okay.
But I still want to do 70.
Yeah.
So
that's tough.
And then I don't really like doubles.
Yeah.
So
I also really hate doubling, so I'm glad we have that in common.
I also do work, so I'm like, it's going to take up too much time.
And by the time work is done, it's going to be dark out.
And it's like, might as well just add a couple, like 2-3 miles at the end of a run.
For sure.
What's that going to change?
For sure.
Compared to like going back and having a shower twice. It was funny, when I was in Flagstaff, I was particularly on my own. My old coach, Lori Hennis, she was still training or coaching me, she's such an angel. It was amazing just to have her training. But I was like, kind of had a little more flexibility with like how much mileage I wanted to do and like exactly what I wanted to do every day. So I was doing like 11 miles a day because I was like, I don't want to double and I want to get to 70 and I don't want to run on Sunday.
Yeah. So have you always taken a day off every week?
Yeah, that's been the biggest thing is I've been talking to Joan about that and maybe transition to like once every 14 days. But that's what really did work in college. So I'm kind of like maybe play around with the idea of like doing once every 14 days. But I definitely think a day off is good. Also, like mentally, it's definitely like a nice mental refresher.
Is that the bigger reason more than physical that you feel like you need it? Is it more just like a decompressed day mentally? Or?
So yeah, I mean, I've had things like kind of, I'll go a little bit more intense. Like in college, we do 7-day schedule, Saturday long run. So long run, I'd go like a little bit hard sometimes because it was like, oh, I have 48 hours, and then this mental checkout and like physical recovery. But definitely the mental side too. Waking up one day and just like not thinking about running. Yeah, it's it's good for you.
That's nice. That's nice.
Not always like doable. And as I like go to like hopefully get to the like bigger level, higher level, whatever you want to call it. Like I'd like to experiment with doing higher mileage.
What is the most you've ever done in a week? I'm curious now. In 6 days.
What's it like? I hit 75. That's it.
Yeah, 75 in 6 days is up there.
It's up there. Yeah. After that, I also like things started flaring up, and I was like, oh. Also, my my workouts in college, I've been told they were very intense. Not very tempo, just intense, and good stuff, but definitely like very intense work, 6 days a week, 11 or so miles a day. Right. Definitely can kind of get to if you're trying to get like.
What was some of the core workouts that you guys would do at NC State, like that you can remember that was kind of like a consistent like staple, like IMKs? I know is something that we did
definitely
all the time.
Ks. We got into some like doing quite a bit of 1200 repeats. I mean, the coaches stuff, they get pretty creative. We do some like 6-4 2s, like cut downs. The track workouts are definitely creative. The cross country ones are pretty standard. A lot of tempos, a lot of 6 mile tempos, a lot of Ks on the field. Oh, we love the fields. When I first got back from my break in August, I was in Raleigh being trained by Lori, still coming to practice a good bit, and I was literally like a week back into training, or 2 weeks maybe, or something like that. And she's like, maybe you should just jump in for a cross country workout. And I was like, oh no.
You're done with
and that's kind of like, I did a couple and I was like, oh no, not this again. Also like with all these women who are like, incredibly fit at this point and like ready to like rip a cross country season. I was like, oh no. Like, definitely got my ass handed to me a little bit. And I was like, it's fine. You know, you guys are doing great.
Yeah, exactly.
Go Pack.
There you go.
So fit.
Little team camaraderie to get their confidence up before before shipping out.
You know, get out there. But okay, here we go. So a week of training. On December 7th, which is a week ago, I did 10 miles. I did some strides, a little cool down to about like 10.5 miles. The next day we had a workout. This is at Davidson Mesa. And we did a 3-mile warm-up, 7-mile workout. We were doing, what was it, like 5 by mile and then some hills, something like that, which was fun. And then a 2-mile cool down.
I was running for the mile repeats.
So we were starting at like 5:40, and then we did the like fourth one we did at like 5:20, and then Joan kind of like stopped us, and we had definitely kind of taken off on that one, and we were like, you know, feeling it a little bit. I just got to altitude too, so it was like, you know, gonna feel it a little bit.
What did you think of Davidson Mesa?
Oh, I liked it a lot. You know, they had a little bit of an incline there, but it was nice.
Sneaky. It's like very sneaky hard, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I think that I think most people like run there, and then all of a sudden you realize like when you get on a track, you could have been running like 10 seconds faster just with the soft.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, and like just like the turns and this and that, the other, going around the dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
All those things. But it was good. I mean, I definitely felt it a little bit in that like 5:21. We're like, okay. And then John tasked us with running because we were all kind of, I mean, especially me and Tegan, my friend, was joining us that day, and I was like, you know, just got here. Katie been a Flagstaff for a while, so she was like, you know, kind of ready to go, and just ripped an amazing 5K. So maybe she was less tired, but she looked at all three of us and she was like, okay, let's do I want you to run a 6-minute mile and not look at your watch. So that's what we did. We did 5:58, so it's pretty close.
Damn.
And it was like, she's like, you need to be talking. Yeah. That's what I was gonna feel. And so we were like, the whole time we were like betting on how fast it was gonna be. And it was great. And then we did some hills and just super fun. Great place. Beautiful too.
Yeah.
So
first workout on the books.
Yeah, first workout on the books. I did do a solo workout before Katie got here.
That's right.
But first like real, I guess, workout, because that one she was like, you just moved. You know, you're gonna be going real slow and hanging out basically.
Sure.
And then the next day, which I guess was Saturday, did an 8-mile run, just like easy run, and then did a long run at
Lagerman Reservoir.
There we go. 13 miles. Good stuff.
Is 13 your typical long run?
Typically 13 to 14. I did do 15 2 weeks ago for the first time ever too. So experimenting. And then took a day off on Monday. And then on Tuesday I did 8 miles, an extra mile of I think some strides and a cool down. And then we get to today, which is we did 3 miles warm up. And then about 8 miles of a workout with a 3-mile cool down. And that was, we did 5 by 2K at like threshold-ish pace, and then 3 by 300 and 3 by 200. So some good work for sure.
Yeah. Long session.
Yeah.
How, like, so with those 2 workouts, like, is that pretty similar to NC State, or what would you say?
I feel like we did some.
I mean, they're pretty like standard workouts.
Yeah, no, I feel like there's just like slight differences. I feel like the Davidson Mesa workout last week was pretty. We would do mile repeats all the time. I mean, mile repeats are kind of like everywhere, anywhere.
Yeah.
But definitely doing a little bit longer stuff. Like me and Joan had a conversation when I joined of like I do typically do a lot more like VO2 max, short, just like grind work, but it's not not like necessarily super long. Like occasionally we do like our 6 or 8 mile tempo. She was like, I'd like to kind of like drag out the workouts a little bit more, get more in there, slow it down a little bit. So that was kind of the aim there. So this was one of the first days where I was doing like, you know, I wanted to finish those 2Ks not feeling like you're done.
Yeah, like you could have done another one.
Yeah, exactly. And like you know, still feeling fresh those 300s and 200s. So, and I mean, I really enjoyed my training at NC State too, and it definitely like challenged me at times. And there's times where we would actually like be more chill, but I feel like it was like the atmosphere of everyone's like, you know, we were always trying to like hit this next time and stuff. And sometimes the workout, that's like a lot, right?
For sure.
So yeah, it's a little bit different.
Well, I guess just like it's I was gonna ask this later, but it's too good of a segue after what you were just talking about. Like, can you take me into the dynamic of, the NC State women's team in terms of like, what was it like in the build up to, winning those national titles in cross? And, like, I know there's a lot of drama that comes with it, highs and lows and everything that gets thrown your guys' way. What was the team culture like? Just give us like an inside kind of look at it.
Well, I'll just take it back a little bit. So I joined in 2018, and when I went just signed for NC State at the time, I think the best the team had gotten was like maybe 4th, but mainly been maybe top 10 finishes. And I remember I had some people because I was looking at Colorado. They're like, oh, I mean, I think I don't really know why you're going to NC State, but to me it was very clear. I mean, I just really bonded with Lori and the women, and I loved their positivity and their work ethic, and no shade to any other school I looked at. I was just like kind of drawn by them.
No shade, a lot of shade to Colorado. Yeah, go Pack.
Go Pack. Anyways, and like certainly no regrets. I got there and was like, I just love these people, and that was something that I think everyone had, and that's something that has, I think has gone till today in terms of the team culture of like, you're not going to always agree with somebody. You're not going to be best friends with everybody on the women's team, but like we are like together, and we're going to like be friends enough with all of this. And it wasn't hard for a lot of people, but it is funny how different some of my teammates were through over the years. And it was cool how like people could bond even despite all of that. So, and then when I first came to college, it was very clear to me from the beginning that the goal was to win a national title. We went into that year, and it's like, and that year, by the way, we got 13th, so not close to a national title.
Closer than I ever got in college, so you got that going.
So that cross country year, I got 200 and something.
Yeah.
So it was.
NCAA cross country can be an incredibly humbling experience early on. Like I feel like most people like tank in the 200s like pretty bad. So
I felt so lucky like coming in as early as I did, because I was seen as like, I made the top 7. And if I had ran what I ran when I was a freshman any other year, I wouldn't have made the top 7. So I got all these really exciting experiences running at nationals, all this stuff, and, screwing up at nationals and like having an experience and being like, okay, well now next time we know what to do. But anyway, the first meeting we had at the beginning of the year, 2018, it's like, we're going to do whatever we can to give ourselves the opportunity to win nationals. And maybe that's not going to be the case, but we're going to try like to put ourselves in that position and work together and like be teammates. And there was also a shift in the culture where we actually do want to be friends, and we want to like spend time with each other too and invest in that. And just like the team, and over time, I think especially like when I think about Caitlin and Kelsey coming in, and Hannah, and just a lot of people who were so committed to like really spending time with their teammates, so that when you line up next to them and and like also another part of it was like, we're not going to be racing during workouts. You're not going to be trying.
No, I was just going to ask that. Was it intense, like those workouts? But it wasn't intense.
I mean, they were intense because people were trying to push themselves, but it was also like this aura, I guess, we want to do better together. And so if someone kind of took off the last rep, it was never personal. It was like, and then most of the time you wanted to like stick with everybody and everyone go together. So like, that was the vibe. We actually had this like hand signal where it was like, you need to come with me.
Yeah.
And so
what was the hand signal?
It looked like this. You like go behind your back and you like go like that. Yeah.
Nice.
So that was the whole thing, is like, we all want to do, the workouts are intense, but we want everyone to be finishing them and everyone to be up there too. Yeah. So having that energy too, and you get on a starting line with people and that starts becoming a dominant energy. It's like, you get on a starting line with all your friends. They're your friends, first of all.
Totally. And
then they actually care about you, want you to race well, are not here to like beat you, So if you see them in a race, it's like, this is my ally. This is like my person. And that was just like, I think what really just pushed things up. And the next year we got 5th, 2nd, and then we finally won. And it was just like a lot of like really hard work and a lot of just becoming very close. So, and then, Lori's at the center of all of that too. And trying to like quell, any kind of drama and like keep the team happy. And, I think that was a big motivation for us too, is like, we want to be friends, but also like, we're going to do well if we're actually like getting along too. It's going to be like a better situation for everybody. So, I'm trying to think what else, and then we just started doing well. And that of course like brings so much like excitement to it. Right. And then
and also expectation though.
Oh, absolutely. And
like,
it's like,
I can't imagine what it felt like to then all of a sudden win, and then the expectation of the next year to be even better.
absolutely. And there's also so many, like, not only in lacrosse, but like in track, in 2022, we had 5 people make the outdoor national 5K.
That's right. I remember that.
And so many events like that where I think like I can speak for many people here, or, that I knew in college, that like after all those things were happening, like when you weren't at that level, it was like personally very challenging, because it's like you get to this level where you're part of this team that like is winning and like sending a bunch of people to track nationals in indoor and outdoor, and it's like, if you know you can be there when you're not there, you're going through something personally, or you're like going through injury or whatever, it's like, it's very challenging because you can see yourself at these like high peaks.
Yeah.
And a lot of college athletes a lot of athletes in general, like you get to a certain place and you're like, wow, I can do that. And then when you're not there for a certain period of time, it's like, what am I doing wrong? Right. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting, kind of that how amazing it is to be a part of such a high caliber team with national champions, and all Americans just left and right. And I did always just look at that as it is just a huge positive, but I guess like it can be just this huge amount of like daunting, energy that also can be created through that. Is all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is expectation that I also have to do, and I have to like put on myself for that, Like,
Absolutely.
How much did you deal with like, and maybe still deal with like your expectations in the sport?
I mean, I think that's definitely one of like the most challenging parts of college, is like kind of dealing with your own mediocrity at times.
Yeah.
Like
that's a good way to put it.
It's just like, you have these highs and you want to be there and you want to set those goals, right? But there's going to be times where like your body or like mentally you're just not there, right? And it's like, it's so hard dealing with that. I actually had one of my like most challenging times of college was actually this past spring. I was out for like 5 months with tendonitis. It was literally shin splints. It was so lame.
Yeah.
Like, it was so lame. And then came back indoor, went better than I expected. I was able to run for our DMR nationals. Like, it was super exciting, but I still just like wasn't back to like my normal shape, and like taking that kind of time off I never had in college. And I didn't really get injured much. Yay. And so it was just an experience for me coming back after taking so much time off, and I didn't really feel like I got my fitness for like 6 months. And then I was trying to finish out my last season with this team that I loved so much and had such great experiences with, and Raleigh relays, and we had ACCs at home, and I was just like, I want to do so well, not like just because of myself, but like almost as like a gratitude to this like place and this program. And not only was I just not there physically really, but like it just kind of got in my head. I was like, not only do I want to like, have this like last big like hurrah of like, hear me at NC State, like,
oh my gosh,
all that stuff, right?
Wants to go out with a
Your
bang.
last bit, like, oh, I want to place high at nationals, all this stuff. But like, I was also like, oh, I really want to continue running after college, and I've just been injured for so long, and like I have good marks from the past, but I want to like make a statement and like give myself opportunities and financial security, like all those things running through your head, and like especially the money, you're like, oh my gosh, so many things. It's like, if I run this, maybe blah blah blah, just so many like things. And I tried so hard to like kind of get it out of my head, but I just like couldn't. And frankly, like those couple races were just trash. Like I dropped out of 1,500 meters.
No way.
That's crazy. And I had a couple good ones in there, so like a couple highlights, I guess, but and then I just missed making nationals, and that was just like the like end of the rope for me. I was like, I had gotten good at making nationals, like getting in those gritty outdoor national regional races and like doing it. And so I felt confident. I was like, okay, I know how to do this, and just fell apart. And it was just like, oh my gosh. And then frankly, funny enough, I remember like Lori coming up to me on that bus, and she's like, you can do whatever you want. Like, I'll be here to like help you with all that, which is crazy because I was like technically off the team at that point. As soon as I stepped out that line, I'm not going to nationals, and
I can't imagine.
It was crazy.
You were.
It was just so sad. I was just with all, and like I had one of like Mariah, who was like one of my best friends from college.
Yeah.
She had made the 10K, and I was just like so excited for her, like long time coming. And then, but for me, I was just like, okay, that's it. Like my entire family had booked tickets to go to Austin, all this stuff. It was just like, oh, you're kidding. And then frankly, it was kind of quite a turnaround where I was like, okay, now I just get to do whatever I want. Like I can race the races I want. And I picked all these races that I was really excited about. And then it just kind of turned around. And I like the weekend of nationals. I mean, it was too expensive for me to go to Austin, but I ended up going to DC with my friends and had like great weekend. Kind of was like, okay, you know, kind of get back to it. And it's a challenge, but doing things like more for myself, I guess, was one of the answers, though. It's just like hard dealing with your own mediocrity. It's gonna happen. Yeah. Like it just is what it is.
Totally. I was so like this past season, like my past outdoor season, I totally felt like, that dealing with your own mediocrity is such a great way to put it than I could ever put in words, just because like that is where I felt like so stuck, where it's like I was doing it, I was running these races that were good enough, you know what I mean? But they were still mediocre to me. Yes. And it doesn't matter what it might look like from the outside, but if as long as it's mediocre for you, you'll never be satisfied with it.
The amount of people like that'll tell you like, oh, but you did this.
Sure.
That.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like feels worse. You're like, oh, no, they're trying to make me feel better. Like, I have these like goals and expectations for myself.
And during that time period, and like, I just resonated with everything you said so much, where it's like during that time period of dealing with my own mediocrity, is when I allowed like all of the expectations of like what I wanted to be and the runner I wanted to be, and the times I wanted to be running and being more competitive at the end of races, take over the fun of the sport. Right. Like I totally let it consume me.
Out.
That I learned so much during that time period, to the point where I'm like, man, if I ever get that toxic with my own self ever again, where I have to do this and, you know, like making this and qualify for that and running this certain way is the only way I can enjoy this sport, like I'm just going to quit. Like I got to that point. Where were you in terms of like dealing with those lows? I mean, it sounds like you reverted to, you know, getting away from it with going to the DC trip and everything. Yeah. But like during those lows of like dropping out of the 1500 and those things, like what were you telling yourself to keep going? Was it stubbornness or like what?
I mean, for a while there during the spring track season, it was like, well, I have ACCs, well, I have regionals, and it's like you can get your shit. Yeah, you can get your shit together for this. And like I kept going back to like, okay, you were injured. Sometimes it takes a minute, but I kept saying that, and it's just like over time that's pretty demoralizing to be like, oh, you just need another race. Oh, you just need another one. Oh, that was really bad. Just one more. And like at that point, like lining up at regionals, it was kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like I can like pump myself up as much as I want, but like you just have so much negativity internally and externally. Like I can't look at the past races I've done and been like, oh, I've done that, or I've done something recent where I can say like, oh, I can definitely run a certain time or something like that. Going into one of those like high pressure situations, it's like, what do you do with that? And it really, like I had to be forced to do. I ran a bunch of 1500s actually, which wasn't like my main event or any, like, you know, I mainly do 5Ks in the summer, and it forced me to like get rid of all the expectations and just like pick an event, pick a situation where like I don't really have like high expectations for myself. Like I want to do well and I think I can do well, but it's like I don't even know where I am right now. Like I'm just gonna do something that I know like if it goes bad or goes well or poorly, like I'm just gonna do it. Right. And I'm going to go to, I picked a bunch of fun locations too. I went to see my parents, the Jersey Shore, went to Portland, went to LA. It was all just like, get out there, enjoy like the fact that you get, like you have good enough PRs and all this stuff that you get to be in these elite set, and just enjoy that and like see what you can do and just like have fun with it.
So breaking the script, it sounds like, is kind of
basically like what I was doing was just not working, like truly not working, and trying to find like other like fun aspects of the sport in ways that I could. I mean, it's hard though, like especially when you think about, because at the time my goal frankly for like most of that year was like, I want to run US nationals in the summer. I want to run, of course, NCAAs, and that was like in the back of
that's pretty mind. Sweet that you had that in the back of your mind. Like that's something I never thought about or dreamed about in college. But that goes back to like probably most of the girls on the States team had that maybe.
They force, I mean, like that, like I have to say, like training with Ellie when I was younger, and then having Caitlin and a bunch of other people who had high expectations for themselves. And then, you know, there was a period of time where I had like pretty bad imposter syndrome because Lori at one point just put me in workouts with them. And I was like, Kelsey and Caitlin and Ellie, that was like the group that she like put me with, and Hannah too. And I was like,
heavy hitters.
Okay. And then I wasn't doing so bad.
Right.
And I was doing all right. And it was just this whole period of being like, wait, no, you can be there and you're here for a reason. And, you know, I'm really grateful she like believed in me in that way because.
And you are, you know, and that's the so exciting thing is like Hannah's running professionally now, Ellie's running professionally, you know, now you are. And I have no doubt, like, I mean, Caitlin, I guess now full time.
Absolutely.
And if Kelsey wants to run professionally, I'm sure she can once she recovers from her injury.
Yeah. So it's come full circle. I kind of got myself out of it and kind of realized like, oh, you should go after these things. And, you know, frankly, let's be honest, when you have good races and you have PRs that like support that idea, then all of a sudden you are thinking
absolutely.
But it takes like, I had to believe in myself first before I could ever run those times. And it came going in those practices and being like, you can hang with these people and you can do these things. And it just kind of like broadened my whole horizons. But I mean, going back to, I guess this year, I had indoor or US nationals in the back of my head. And it's crazy because I actually made US nationals and it was in the 1500 meter. And it was so funny. It was such a special full circle moment to be like, because I just like forced myself out of this, like, I'm going to run a really fast 5K and I'm going to like, you know, run in the teens. And like, I literally had so many 5K races that semester where I was like, I'm going to go out at 5:20 pace and I'm going to hold it and then I'm going to kick and then I'm going to run 5:15. And that was what was in my head. And it was just like, it was madness. It was just like, I was just crazy. Like, and Lori so many times was like, you got to stop doing that. And I was like, but I have to. And it was like, just like silliness, right? Yeah. Like, what was I doing? And then I made it in like the most like, you know, the way I would have never expected. And, you know, so grateful that that's how my summer turned out. But it was just like letting go. It's crazy. It's like you have to just like let go of all those outcomes, which is so hard to do.
Yeah, totally. And then like, you know, hearing you, I'm just telling myself now the same thing where it's like, I know that if I just give myself like just the one track minded focus of like Olympics or bust, you know, like my probability of actually making it will probably go down or is like gonna be so much worse if that's the only thing I'm like fixated on, and it's the only thing I can think about, you know, like you said.
These
but
big
I
goals,
do know
it's hard
for sure and it is figuring out that relationship with your goals and your dreams and how to approach them in a positive, you know, way that, you know, you can have fun and you can enjoy the process, which unfortunately does not happen the way you want it to. But please.
It's like, it's honestly kind of sad, but I went to the last Olympic trials. I didn't race. I watched it because I had a couple friends and
there too.
Yeah.
Just watching.
Yeah.
Intern at Adidas.
Awesome. But
it's actually where I met Drew for the first time.
Really?
That's how the whole like story starts. Actually,
I need to like learn more about the
origin stories.
Yes, please.
You tell your story first. So I can do mine quick.
So basically, I was watching and so exciting, truly like very inspiring to me, and just like so cool to see in person. Also, you know, being in Hayward is always a special time, right? One of the things that me and many of my friends took away from it was just, frankly, how depressing it was. Seeing the sheer number of people that were just devastated by not making it. And this didn't, like, a lot of the college kids were just having fun with it. So any college students, you're like, they're there, they're just having a good time. They could have sucked. They're just like, yay. And they may have done well. A lot of them did so well. Like, it was so cool to see. But like seeing so many people who had really invested time in the sport, especially if they're professional, just the amount of people who were just completely devastated. And of course, like, that is a worthy goal. It's like to make the Olympics or make a world team, and like, you know, going after that, of course you're going to be heartbroken, but it's really like really got in my head of like, I hadn't really thought this way anyways, but I was like, there has to be other ways of success than this, because that is scary and sad. Like, if my whole career of running just in general, it goes up to, do you make an Olympic team or do you make a world team? Like, that's like a crazy amount of pressure, and also it leaves no room for some of like the other successes that you've had. You know what I mean? And like, I've had so many things that I consider success in so many like weird moments. I ran like World Cross for like U20, and I just didn't think I was a cross country runner. And just some of like the really cool races I've been in, or really cool experiences, like
sounds like maybe you gotta hop in US Cross with Katie.
Oh no, not a 10K. This is a 6K.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe next year. But and not just World Cross, but so many other events that like I consider like very successful and I really enjoyed. And I was like, I actually made a list as soon as I left college of like things that I consider success within running. And some of them were like really small, some of them were big, some of them are like, I want to break 15 in the 5K one day. And then some of them are small, like I want to run a decent time in the 800 because it's not good right now, or just other things. And then some of them are like completely not like goal oriented.
I try to tell that to as many like young runners and even to myself now, where it's like you have to continue to work on like everything and not be fixated on like you're a miler or a 5K runner or a 10K runner. Like everything is going to make you better, and like the best runners are doing everything. Like Josh Kerr ran a half marathon in the fall before he won gold. It's like you're hearing more and more stories like that. So
and that's so fun
go out
too.
And do your 800.
Like how fun is it to like do an event that you are not that good at?
Yeah.
Like the pressure just kind of evaporates.
And you'll be a better runner for it, whether you go lactic, 600 in or whatever.
Whether you run a 69 or a 60 and then a 70 or, like some people.
Wouldn't know.
Wouldn't know about that. But yeah.
So real quick. So basically I was interning at Adidas, and we stayed at the Sigma Chi fraternity house. That's like the Adidas hospitality that they do every single year. They like rent out this whole frat house. And I was actually interning for tennis. Shout out Adidas tennis department for hiring me. And I basically convinced my boss to like let me go to the Olympic trials because I would be testing out these Adidas flip-flops for one of his like friends in another Adidas department. But that was my in. I was going to do all these consumer, like I was going to get like all the Adidas runners to wear different type of like slides that they were testing out and then write this whole report on like feedback and everything. But anyway, like Drew came in, and I knew who he was like from watching him in high school racing. And like the story that I like to tell is like he just had finished up all this media interview. Like he had literally just signed that day, or at least like took the shiny picture. Like I'm sure he had signed like months before. And I remember I was like hungover on the couch. I didn't do any of my sandals work. Like I just was there to drink around professional runners after the races, like,
good time. Let's be honest. Good time.
And I remember Drew like looking over at Joan and Mark and being like, I have to go run, and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, all right. Like, hey man, like I still need to run today too, because like I'm going into my 5th year, and like I hadn't done anything for running that week. And then like the sports marketing people who now take care of me were like, oh yeah. This is Sam, like he'll go run with you. Like, yeah, it'll be great. Like go take Drew out on the trail. And then Drew and I just went out on the trail and like we talked and we got to know each other. We didn't talk about running or Adidas or anything, we just talked about
conversations.
Like, I tried really hard, to just like talk to him about like his relationship and like other stuff, just for fun, just to try to get him out of like this whole crazy headspace of signing this big Adidas contract and having just the world of expectation on his back all of a sudden. But we kept in touch, and then just like Snapchatting in college, and I would just send him my mass Snapchats like I'd send everyone in college, like when I was stupidly at a tailgate on every Saturday or doing whatever I shouldn't have been doing, and he just would eat it up, and we became close friends through that. And then I went to Europe and we bumped into each other, and Drew jokingly said to me, and once again I was in Europe to once again do the same thing, was to like drink and have fun around like whoever I could. And I went to some races in Belgium because Graham Crawford and Andrew Colley, some of like my teammates at NC State, were racing professionally. And I was like, oh, I'll jump on a train and support them. And after the races and Drew was there, told me, he was like, yeah, dude, you should come out to Boulder and like train with me. It would be sweet, you know? And he was like totally kidding. Like I didn't run for like 3 months at this point. You know, this was like months after graduating the 10K, and I just left straight from Eugene with a backpack, you know, putting the sport of running behind me, or so I thought. And at the time, like, I didn't give myself a chance to like run professionally, you know, like I thought like I was just like a college party boy. Like I wasn't like cut out for like the work ethic that professional running took. But Drew saying that to me, and like giving me that olive branch to be like, no, you should come out to Boulder, even though it was probably just a joke and he thought I would never actually do it, and like pack my bags like you did and like just take a chance. Like, and I came out here with like a couple months on an Airbnb until Christmas, and that was it. Like I had no expectation for anything, and we ended up all clicking and wanting to do something more and actually build something, and that's kind of the origin story of it. Of like what Tinman Elite is now. But I guess like my segue then into that story is like, could you just shed some light on like your transition to Tinman Elite right now? Like I know it was like pretty stressful at times, and like waiting and all that, you know, like as much as you like are willing to share.
Yeah, sure. So I met Mark and Joan at Indoor Nationals when I ran the DMR this past year, and you know, Lori was telling me, and I was like, well, it's a men's team.
Yeah.
But I was like thinking about Colorado, and I was like, actually funny, a little side story. My high school coach is like very friendly with Joan, and I'd heard so many good things.
Shout out Doug.
I know Doug. He's done. I hope he listens to this. Coach Doug Petrick. He inspired me so much into like positive, like, you know, work hard, have fun. And I think like every coach I've found after him, whether it be Lori or Joan, that's also been their kind of like mantra. Awesome. And like truly has like done so much for me in the sport, because I don't know, that was just such a healthy thing for me in so many ways. Anywho, so I was like, okay, sure. I love Colorado. My brother lives here. He goes to Colorado School of Mines. Shout out Alex. He's a runner too. And I was just like, I love Colorado. Okay, let me go talk to them. And the expectations were low. I'm like a men's team mainly. Yeah. So, you know, here we go. And then it was just like almost like, I feel like 5 minutes of the conversation, I was like, oh, wow. I was just impressed by talking to both of them, and the way that they approach things, and kind of just like positive, down to earth, like, you know, but very kind too, very caring. I was like, I feel like by the time I left college, I felt like Lori was like kind of like, you know, she's my coach, but she's almost like this like mother figure too, of like helping me through so many other things, so many like my personal stuff too. Like, you know, she was just like very helpful, and I was like, I felt like I met both of them, and I was like, wow, these people, I feel like they'll actually be there for me if I was to go professionally. It wouldn't just be like, oh, did you PR this, you know, did this year or that, or like just something running wise. Like, actually care about you as like a person, which I think is so vital in coaching. Like, you know, you don't even have to like, you know all the deep shit about your athlete, but just like care about them as a person and want the best for them in life too. Like, that's huge. I've met a lot of people who haven't had that experience. I've had that experience, and like having coaches just be excited for you in life, even if it's not running, that's big. So I was just really drawn in by that. And then, you know, as time went on, I was like, wow, this is like pretty cool. You know, I like Adidas, been wearing Adidas forever, you know, good vibes, 3-stripe life. No, I don't know. And I also bought like, another side story, but like Adidas gave us $200 gift cards every time we went to nationals. And we went to nationals quite often, you know, shout out cross country team. And the amount of like street, like sneakers, clothes I have from Adidas, I was like, I can't just lose my whole wardrobe here, guys. Okay. All the clothes that I like that aren't like, you know, literally just like super non-running clothes are Adidas. I literally have a leather jacket that I got. I mean, it's fake, but like, you know what I mean? Anyways,
I remember those gift cards.
Oh, the gift cards, you know, shout out Adidas for that. That was super nice. I mean, I always get shoes too. So just like an absurd amount of Ultra Boost by the time I left college. And so, yeah, and then they invited me to come visit, met all of you guys. And I was equally impressed by just like the manner you guys hold yourselves and the team culture, and just like the lifestyle you guys have out here too. I was like, this is something I could definitely get into, be a part of. And, you know, going back to that, like, it just kind of goes back to this core of like, work hard, have fun. Working hard can also be really, really fun. It's not always fun, obviously, but, and, you know, finding this balance of like really wanting to do really big things. Anyways, and then it took a little bit of time. I was like, at this point, I was like, I honestly feel like this is like the best place for me. Place wise, like coaching wise, I just feel like the people, as I did in college, it's like, I want to be around good people. And for me, I was like, okay, this is how I feel about Tinman. And then kind of once I make that decision mentally, it was like hard for me to get out of it. I was like, this is where I want to be. Right. And then it did take a while because we didn't really want to start a women's team with just one woman. I was like, I don't really want that either,
I remember you posted on Instagram.
The savvy post.
Like it was about like how like you're in limbo and you were in Flagstaff training and stuff. And I remember like Max and I were like had like our Monday media meetings, and like Max was like, did you see Savannah's post? And I was like, no, I didn't see it yet. And we like read it, and we both were just like, damn it, like fuck, like this sucks so bad, because like we also wanted you to join so badly, and we wanted you to like be a cornerstone like of our women's team like for the years to come. But it was that thing where like the coaches drew the line in the sand so hard, where it was like, we aren't going to start a women's team unless we have 2 women at least.
Oh, for sure.
So that they have training partners and everything. Like with Tori, it was so hard, you know, like just having her train alone and everything. And Tori was amazing. But it was just so tough for them to just have the one girl, you know? So
no, and I support that fully. I also like at some point, you know, I'll be honest, like by October, I was like, just sign me up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's just, I don't know. And like at one point, actually, I think it was in November, I was like, at this point, I cannot just live in my friend's house anymore. I mean, I was paying rent. Like, it's not like I was like, you know, trespassing, I guess. But like, I was like, I need to be settled. Like, I just can't stay in Raleigh anymore. Like, I love it. It's very comfortable. It's very safe, and everyone's very supportive. But I can't stay here anymore. I want to live in Colorado. I've wanted to live in Colorado since I was like 16 years old. Like, it's happening. And so I basically started making plans to move out here. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be on the team, this, that, or the other, or whatever. And I was looking at other options too, but I was just like so drawn to living here. And, you know, I just feel excited to run in a place like Colorado. Not that I did in Raleigh, but it's just like it's just so fun. Like all these trails.
And you have
places.
Like what you just said is like the core of like how Tinman Elite was built. And it was built off of like there's nothing that you're gonna get here other, you know, obviously like coaching Adidas, you know, there's some glitz and glamour for sure, but like there was so many people like Joey, myself, Reed, you know, that all basically took the chance, you know, to basically say like, this is the right place for me, and I'm just gonna figure it out, and I'm just gonna pack my bags, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna figure it out. And like for you to have that spirit, you know, like is just, everyone on the team is going to listen to this, you know, and like I know like Joey always preaches that with like anyone we're recruiting, is like, we want people that just want to be here, you know, that is number one, you know. And to say this story out loud again, you know, from your point of view, is like incredibly invigorating for me. And like it really does, like, I'm not gonna cry, but like it really does make me so emotional, because like my dream with Tinman Elite was always to and for all of us, like for Drew, Reed, and I, like all the founding members, like, you know, it was to create like an opportunity like for people to continue running that like actually just genuinely just wanted to like do something exciting for the sport and to be a part of something. And like it's super inspiring.
I mean, you guys, coming here and seeing you guys have that was like a huge thing for me too, where I was like, people want to be here and want to be doing this, and like it's not just the times, it's not just the like success, all the stuff on, you know, World Athletics, whatever, like, cause that's just only part of it. And it's like, if that's all that you're doing the running, because that was also a moment for me too, where I was like, I want to keep running, but I want to be somewhere that I'm really happy and I'm really excited to be there. And like, I don't want to just move. Like, it was hard in my recruiting process. I was very much like, I want to live a handful of places, And like I remember multiple agents were like, you need to like broaden your options. They're like, you need to consider other things.
Yeah.
And I was like, but like I'll be honest with you, like there's so much outside of like the racing or all this stuff. And like, I mean, I'm so like no regrets joining Tinman, obviously, but like I was like, I want to be, there's only a couple places I want to be. And I don't want to do this pro running thing if it's not like, I'm not like so excited about it, because like there's so many, there's like the whole, have you heard of like the fig tree quote? Maybe. Basically, it's like there's a bunch of different figs and like you have different lives on each of them. Like I have.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes,
So it's like, and I think that gets a little weird. People take it as like almost like a bad thing.
Yeah.
Where I just like, I think to myself, like I could be living in Manhattan doing that whole thing and doing like business stuff. I could be living in Seattle and like doing this other thing. I could be living in Europe doing this whole other life. But I was like, if I'm gonna be doing like professional running or just running at like a next level, I want it to be some like just super exciting and like with a great group of people. And that was like definitely like here, or just I don't want to just be alone too. Like oh my gosh, you just want to be training by yourself all the time. Like that just takes out so much of it. So anyways, you guys definitely brought that for me too, so appreciate it.
All right. I have so many questions in here that I want to keep asking you, but we're just gonna have to do a second podcast at some point. We're gonna jump into some mailbag questions here that people asked. We'll go through some of these quickly. You can answer these as fast and if you want to expand on them, by all means.
Okay.
Teagues, Teague Loves asked, what's your favorite song?
So my favorite artist is Lana Del Rey.
Nice.
My favorite song is a deep cut, and I usually am kind of private about this, but I'll be honest for this podcast, just for you. It's this deep cut song. It's called 11th Dimension by Julian Casablancas. I'm a big Strokes fan.
Nice.
I know the discography like back of hand. Same with Lana. Those are my two. So
nice. That's
but I think Tegan was looking for Lana song. She's also a really big fan.
I feel like that's a very hard question, so I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed by the answer. I don't even know what I would say for my favorite song. I've definitely listened to this song Revo Fev. I think that's how you say it, by Kid Cudi the most. Like whenever I was like stressed in college, I would play that.
Really?
As embarrassing maybe that would be. But,
I feel like it's almost better to have like a favorite song of your era at different like times in your life, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That'd be so cool to like pull together.
Like Doses and Mimosas by Cherubs.
Oh my gosh.
Like the song of college for me.
That's amazing.
I played at every party. What is some advice currently you would give to your past self regarding running? Andrew asked this.
Regarding running.
So let's phrase this as like advice to your younger self.
Okay. Ooh. Well, I don't have many regrets, which I'm proud. Like I feel like I've been trying to live that way most of my life. I mean, there's little things here and there, of course, but I feel like everything's just a journey, right? Try to take things in stride. But I guess in terms of running, I guess just like having like, I've always done better when I have less expectations. And like that's when I run my best. So definitely in running for sure. I think I came into college very naive, in my personal life, and like kind of let people walk all over me a little bit. And that's a huge regret, like people pleasing kind of stuff. So, and that bled into running as well. But just kind of like standing my own.
I think it's really easy to do that in college.
Oh, wow.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's very easy.
She's a freshman. Oh my gosh.
And just,
right?
Yeah. People pleasing is for sure. Preston asked, what is it going to take for her to agree to go on a date with me?
Well, considering we live in different states, but you know, I really appreciate all of the Colorado recommendations, Preston.
There you go. Love it.
No, I love all my Flagstaff people. I had a great time. It was a funny little tidbit. Everyone was trying to convince me to move to Flag. At that point, I was like, I'm so sorry, but I'll come visit. Don't worry.
There you go. There you go.
What's the point?
Favorite workout or track memory from Jackson?
Track memory. Favorite workout. Okay, we did this one workout which is like now become iconic a while ago, and it was literally the day that I gave my oral defense for my graduate school program.
Yeah.
And I was late and had to do the workout myself.
No.
Which was pretty funny. But I was on a high because I had just like passed graduate school. So I was
leaving like a test in college, like you're just like it's like the greatest adrenaline rush ever.
Oh, absolutely. I was like, I'm about to do this hard workout, like a very hard workout, but I'm just on a high. Like nothing could faze me now. But we started the workout with a 60-second 400, and people are trying to go under 60.
Yeah,
obviously.
Of course. Runner.
And then you had to do a whole workout afterwards that was like 400s, and you're basically having to deal with like a bunch of lactate, you know. That was the whole point. And it's funny because like the workout actually got easier over time as your body actually processed it, but the first reps after that were tough. But I ran 60 on the dot by myself, so it is what it is. So that was super fun. When I was in high school, we used to do like 3x500 or 5x300 to like as like a 1500, and you do it like race pace, like not totally race pace, but like, and that was just super fun. I love just doing some like shorter reps.
Nice.
But you know, there's nothing like finishing a 6 mile tempo too and doing well. So that's like pretty gratifying.
For sure.
But anyways, go on.
I'm trying to filter some of these. What's your race day routine?
Okay.
Tell your fans about your pre-race kombucha. Spooky.
Oh my gosh, yes, I do love pre-race kombucha, and that's been kind of controversial on my college team. They're like the bubbles, and I was like, okay. But
so you do kombucha pre-race?
Not like I'll have it like within 24 hours.
Okay.
You know, settles the
like
stomach a little bit. Yeah, maybe if I like evening race or like dinner or like you know, after dinner or like before dinner if I have like a morning race. Don't always have kombucha, but it is tasty. I love having some kind of drinky drink, I guess, you know, and that one's a good one. What else? I love getting Asian food like chicken and rice and stuff the night before a race, and I'm kind of notorious now for eating like the weirdest stuff because I had some like kind of serious gut issues when I was in college, so it was like only some things I'd be able to handle, and then frankly like I think I was just like stressed out with racing so much when I was younger that like no matter what, it would just be shitty, like my stomach would at least. But I went through these phases where I had to have like just like Asian chicken and rice, and they would bring it to the dinners that we'd have across the country. Oh my God. I like wouldn't eat Italian food. I just like couldn't do it. And then now I'll eat anything pretty much. But pre-race itself, I definitely love to like have a lot of snacks beforehand. Cookies, that's a big one. Love a good cookie or any kind of run or race.
That's like Drew's big thing is like eat the cookie.
Like,
enjoy yourself and eat the cookie. Like you need the sugar, you know.
Absolutely. Night before a good Kit Kat or some like candy. You know, you got to calm yourself down a little bit. Like it's not gonna kill you.
There's I've had some pretty like weird roommates like in my professional running crew now, and like there would be people that would get so stressed out before races that they'd get like pretty drunk before races.
Oh my gosh.
They'd have like, you know, a good amount of beers at dinner, and I'm just like, bro, what? Like,
it's crazy.
Like if you're this toxic to like yourself that you need to like inebriate yourself before a race, like just to sleep, like I probably shouldn't do it.
Or if you're only eating like peanut butter for the last 24 hours before.
Totally.
Like,
no, it's crazy. It's crazy how like you can, on like a workout day or something, you can just eat so nonchalantly or something, and then all of a sudden like the day of the race you can switch it all up, you know. It's
so funny. I actually like that really changed everything for me when I was like, I can eat so much and work out so well.
Yeah.
Or my like, you know, something could be bothering me and I can still have a fantastic workout. Like, why is that not my mindset going into races? Like, of course I don't want to like screw myself over and eat something that like I know is going to bother me or something like that, but like we're putting so much stock into it.
Yeah.
When it's like you do it twice a week.
Yeah.
Almost every week.
Yeah. I know everyone's different, and I don't want to give like very bad advice right now, but like I eat probably more on race days than I do like any other day, just because like I don't like, my greatest fear for a race is like just being underfueled and like feeling like shit because I didn't have enough sugars or anything like that. Oh, totally. Or just like, like kind of like the eyes rolling behind your head type of thing. Like I've experienced it a few times just from eating toast and peanut butter all day and being like, why did I feel so bad? It's like, well, you didn't get any proteins or complex carbs or sugars, or like you need everything, so all right. All right, a lot of these are like Raleigh questions, which I'm going to get into in a second. So I think we can move ahead to the next segment I have.
Okay.
Is sorry, I just don't want to miss. Okay, all right. A lot of the questions we actually covered in the podcast, like naturally, which is great. All right, so I'm calling this next segment Raleigh's Best, and I'm just gonna say different things, and you just have to rattle off like what's the best of Raleigh. Some of them are open-ended questions, some of them are like this or that. Okay,
sounds good.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, coffee shop.
Jubala.
It's Cup of Joe for those listening. It's Kaj.
I just have to say this real quick. There was a whole thing this past couple years about, are you a biscuit person or are you like a basketball person? I should have had
this on here.
And basically the thing is like, are you the kind of person that's gonna like look cute and sit in a coffee shop and have your little biscuit, or are you the kind of person who wants to play like pickup basketball?
Okay.
And there was quite a divide on the team, and the basketball people were most of the Cup of Joe people. So there was also a divide there, and then I was working very hard to like, pull people into Jubala vibe, because some of them hadn't even had it, and I was like, I mean, you can't really make a decision.
Yeah,
haven't had both. Anyways.
Yeah, I remember Jubala opened like I think my senior year, so I was already like a Cup of Joe loyalist at that point, and I did like 90% of my studying in Cup of Joe, so I have to give it the tilt. All right, Mediterranean food. There's only one right answer here. Jasmine's correct.
Absolutely. It's like correct. 3 locations. How could you miss it?
Man, we ate jasmine so much in college. Ridiculous. All right, bar.
Well, it's actually kind of hard. I mean, probably like the beer garden.
Beer garden, yeah.
Walk in.
I have East Village, but it closed. It was just on Dixie Trail, so that's where we always went.
That was pretty sad. I feel like none of the Glenwood like actual like going out spots really ever like, I don't know. I had like negatives about all of them
for sure.
But beer garden is just so pure.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Post long run brunch.
Okay,
let me say food.
Post long run food.
Because mine is not really a brunch spot.
Okay. There's this New York bagel place that I think is more of a recent addition to the team. Okay. And they have like pork roll, they have like everything. They have like egg everything bagels and stuff like that. And that one's become like a pretty big spot. It's also like on the way back from Tobacco, so it's like very convenient as well. Let's see.
I had Clues.
Oh.
Did you guys ever go to Clues?
No, I literally have never heard of that.
Oh, heartbreaking.
You need to put this part on social media so people know about it.
Yeah, exactly. Clues was this old Raleigh place like across from Avon Ferry. That it was just like hot dogs.
It's still open?
Hamburgers and stuff. I would be pretty upset if it's closed, because this was like a long standing thing.
Time in Avon Ferry shopping, whatever center.
It was like,
I have to look it up.
Wow, this is gonna be really sad if it's gone. Yeah, like they the owner like knew Geiger really well, and he would always like hook us up with like free food, and he would always be so excited when we all came in after like a long, and he'd be like, how many miles you guys all run today?
Oh no, I missed that one.
Yeah. Burritos.
I don't think I really had a burrito spot. Is there?
So I actually
what's the correct answer?
The correct answer is El Toro, and that was a place that Luis Vargas showed us my senior year, and best burrito I've ever had still to this day.
I do like Baja Burritos, which is the one across the area too. That place is a good spot. My parents used to go there.
Nice. Yeah.
They used to go to Baja. Back in the day.
Wait, did your parents go to NC State?
They went to NC State when Lori was at NC State.
No
but
way.
They had no idea like about the cross country, track, field, everything team, and most of my kind of family has too.
Wait, that's so cool.
Yeah, go
Dang. Wow.
They were all just like them coming to like ACCs at Raleigh was like, so special.
Yeah,
to have them all there.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
it's pretty sick.
Southern cuisine, I guess like North Carolina cuisine.
I mean, there's just so many good spots here, but I mean, just generally the grits there. I love grits. So
I guess I didn't realize these are all just like food places for Raleigh. Like they're not really much like. I said the Pit. Did you guys ever go to the Pit?
No, not really. I'm like completely blanking now on all of my like southern food spots, but there was quite a few that we would go to. I'm like, yeah, I can't remember right now.
No worries.
All
right, next one. K-Day or Christmas party or golf. I put 3 in here. You have to pick one. One of the big 3.
That's so hard. What a tricky question. I feel like Christmas party is just the most iconic, though.
Yeah.
It's the most crazy, iconic. I'm just curious. Like, you don't have to say much about it, but how much have you talked about the Christmas party
on a podcast?
Open air?
Never. This is the first time anyone's ever heard about the NC Christmas party.
Okay.
We didn't make it like in years like 2. I don't know. Like we had like a good streak of like the cops coming. Like I think it was 3 years in a row.
Wow, I don't think we really had
and it just got out of hand with us. Just like we would just make flyers and hand them out in case
too many people,
and it would just get out of hand, and there'd just be way too many people in the streets. So maybe it's for the best. I got toned down a little bit.
I mean, when I was there, we still had we're fighting like the Swimmers and a bunch of other teams to go, but COVID kind of messed with it a little bit.
For sure.
Obviously.
I was always terrified that the living room, it was gonna like cave in into the basement or like some like nightmare fuel, because like it was such an old house that and there would be like people on the roof that would just like be smoking or doing God knows what, and I was always terrified.
I wish I could add more content to this, but there's just so many it's like I can't say about Christmas party.
Yeah, exactly. You guys still did golf, right?
Yeah. It kind of conflicted, I feel like, with some of like the serious races later on.
For sure.
But I went, especially when I was younger, and it was definitely quite a time.
Yeah. So Matt Sonnefeld and I came up with golf. We were like, we need like a good party to have in the spring. Like we have like Christmas party, we have K-Day, like we have like good fall parties, but nothing in the spring. So we came up with the idea for those listening. Basically, it was every single house would have a different drink, and or what?
4 houses.
4 houses, and each house would have a different drink, and you basically go to the house and you drink the different drinks, and there was a drinking, a very aggressive drinking component involved with it. I'm not going to go into it, but a lot of fun. Everyone dressed up in golf outfits and everything, and competed to see who had the lowest score at the end of the night.
Too is before I came to college, when I committed and you're like waiting to come, I guess senior year, I saw the golf photos because I followed everybody. Truly, to bottom of my soul was like, wow, they have like a thing for playing golf. And that's really interesting. I don't know how much I'm gonna do that, but they have like a whole event where they get dressed up and playing golf.
Yeah. Are we good? Are we good, Tyler? Keep going.
You're good.
Okay. All right. I am or Dorothea Dix. Intramural Fields or Dorothea Dix.
So much pain. Probably I'll say, I'm gonna be controversial. I'll say Dorothea Dix. Nice. I have some pretty good memories, even though it's objectively the worst place to work out. It's
objectively the worst place.
Absolutely the worst place. But I've had some fun times there without not breaking my ankle, thank God.
Yeah,
so.
Dorothea Dix is a good cross country secret for NC State. Tobacco or Olmsted?
Probably Olmsted. I had this routine where I go every Wednesday morning when no one was there.
Nice.
And it was incredibly peaceful.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is the harder pick as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm upset too. One time, me, Craig, and Robe, who were the 3 guys in my freshman class, decided that it was going to be a brilliant idea for us to camp, where we always did warm up and everything. And so we wouldn't even have to wake up. You know what I mean? We'd already be there. So we camped overnight. It was an awful night. In Crabtree. Or sorry, no, not Crabtree. I'd the NC State ag department place.
It's a harder place to run it from too.
Yeah, and we just had all night of sleep, and I remember Seaton and Lori and Geiger pulling up in the white vans and being like, you guys are idiots. Like, you guys are the first and hopefully last people to ever do this.
I cannot imagine what Seaton said.
Yeah. Seaton gave like me and Craig like such a long rope in college. Like, I don't know why. And like Geiger had like seen it all. So like he always like let stuff slide, but we definitely, they were too easy on us for sure. But I love them for that. UNC or Duke?
Like there's no context to that question. I mean, going to South Carolina, so Duke every day.
There you go. There you
Answer.
go. There you go. I was looking for neither, but yeah, that works.
Neither is the most correct answer, but
all right. Bojangles or Cookout?
Cookout, easy.
Cookout. What's Cookout order?
Okay, I get a barbecue chicken sandwich with pickles. It's the grilled chicken. I get chicken nuggets. And I get Cajun fries. Cookout sauce, huge thing. I almost always forget to get it, but you cannot eat the food without a cookout sauce. And then potentially like an Oreo mint milkshake.
Nice. There was this one time where we were there, and I like heard the lady in the back, and I was like very inebriated.
Really?
As most people are when they go to Cookout. But I like heard the lady in the back with like someone that ordered right in front of me, and the lady was like, yo, I need to get a tray putt putt. And I thought it was like the funniest thing that she said, like tray putt putt. Like I was like, I have no idea what that means. And I like went up to the counter and I was like, yeah, I want tray putt putt. And I just did that every single time, and it was like a tray with like chicken tenders and like double hush puppies. Like that's what a tray putt putt was. So I got that every single time just so I could say tray putt putt.
That's incredible.
And I'll get a Heath bar milkshake.
That's nice. One time I went and it was during a hurricane, and I just really want to Cookout. I wasn't even drunk. I just wanted to Cookout. And they were like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, please go home.
Yeah.
There's also people there. I was not the only one.
Oh yeah. NC State students are weird about Cookout.
Oh my gosh. The culture.
It really is. Patrick Sheehan ate Cookout so much. All right. We're going to finish up with these last two. Finish. So this is just like also very NC State related. Actually, very NC State related. Finish the sentence. The strength of the...
Wolf is the pack and strength of the pack, so...
Oh! Whole thing. I didn't even need the whole thing.
I mean, it's like basically one word.
Yeah, it is.
It's not even a sentence, it's a full word.
A hand behind her back. We can take on all the rest.
Oh my gosh, parents are gonna kill me. You're starting in the middle of the song though.
I know, I want it to be hard. Do you want to just do the whole song? Can you do the whole song?
We're the red and white state, and we know we're on the best. Hand behind our back, we can take on all the rest. Go to Hill Carolina, 6 stand in line.
Nice.
NC State, go State. I won't sing it again.
Nailed it.
Oh, that was tricky there.
I thought you were gonna have to sing it to do it. Like I wouldn't have to sing it too. Respect.
If you had started with "Go to South Carolina," I could have done it from there.
For
That's
sure.
my favorite line. But
Geiger's.
Well, he changed the group chat so many times.
This is open ended. There's no right answer. There's no right answer to these next ones.
I remembered an early group chat, so it's like that, but I can't remember it just now, sadly.
You can anything. Geiger's.
Wolfpack. Yeah.
Nice. I was going for Geiger's Army.
Oh yes, that's
Was that still a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like remembering it vaguely.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
Lori Hennis is.
Jeez. Wow.
Just open it. There's no right answer.
Okay.
I was just going.
We had a minute there where we were like farmers, so it was like Lori's Farmers or something.
Nice. I was just going for Lori Hennis is the greatest of all time.
Oh, well.
You go. But 17. I'll help you. 17 Dixie.
Oh, I'm trying.
College. This is a hard one. It was a college beverage.
College beverage. Okay. I was thinking of the Geiger head on the college. I got stolen by the wrestlers.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that was a good Christmas edition we made that year. Think and
do.
Nice. All right, last question that I'd like to finish off with is Mount Rushmore of people that you've raced against. Doesn't have to be the 4 fastest people. It could just be people that have been the biggest influence on you, or anyone that you really looked up to, or anything that you think that their face should be cemented on a wall forever if you were the maker of the Mount Rushmore.
Pressure. It's funny because because this has been asked a couple times now, I had like heads up on it, but it was still so hard to pick. Like, of course you're gonna pick some of the fastest people you ever like went on a starting line with, but also just like the most influential. And I think I'll go with like kind of like the easiest one, which is like one of the fastest people I've ever lined up to was the Thing Mu, who I
never actually met her.
I actually haven't either, but I've raced her or been at competition with her sometime in high school, because she was in Jersey, I was in Pennsylvania, and we would do occasionally the same races together. But anyways, that's like definitely one of the fastest people I've lined up next to. And then I think for the rest, it'd have to be like Chrissy Gear.
Nice.
Ellie.
She was on Katie's also.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love Chrissy as a person, but just a really inspiring runner, racer, and I just love her as a person as well. I mean,
that was so cool watching her win the steeple this past year.
That was the most exciting thing ever. Like, just the people that you like want to root for.
Totally, and I think everyone kind of felt that. It was like you wanted to root for her.
Sure. Absolutely, and it's like you meet some of those people and they're like obvious. Like there's so many of my friends that like I'm like want to root for, and then you meet someone like special that you just feel kind of like this like.
I don't know Chrissy and I've never really met her, but I definitely feel like she is very true to herself, and I can appreciate that so much.
I appreciate the way that she just like doesn't really accept anything that isn't herself either.
Nice.
Like, wow, it's inspiring. Just many levels, not just running ways of like, you are gonna be yourself no matter what, and you also remember the fast. So like that's so cool. And you have this crazy kick that's incredibly dangerous. Anyone who does a steeplechase or any other event. But anyways, love Chrissy. And got to race her most of my college career. So the last 3 are people I've just been racing for a long time. Definitely Caitlin. I mean, just like, great person, such like the biggest teammate ever, and that was just so inspiring to me. And there's so many people I can think of my team that are that way as well. So not just her, but just like her talent is and the way that she's handled so much pressure and so much throughout her college career, just very inspiring for me. And always an honor to work out with her. She's so fun, and she's the kind of person she'll be talking about something really random before a race, just like. Not all about running either, which I always appreciate too. And there's so many of my teammates like that who are just like teammate first, who would just like, die for you basically. And like, anytime you succeed, they are just so happy and you're so happy for them. That's just like pretty beautiful. And then Ellie for sure. I mean, I came on the team with her, and like, I feel like so much that I learned about myself, about running, was from her. I think one of the biggest things too is she very early on was like, you can do these things. And just having someone tell you that was like, wow, okay. I can do this thing, like reframing my expectations of like what I want to go after, and like how I want to be a good teammate and like have this like team culture.
She probably read it on like the tarot cards.
Oh yeah, we did so many.
She saw the stars or something.
Like astrology, all the things. This isn't like borderline negative things. But no, all are the best, and like I really appreciate our time spent together. And there's so many other teammates that I just think about are like, gosh, like usually if I think of Hannah, I think of Kelsey, Brooke, and like all these other people, and Mariah. It's like okay, like that's worth it. So anyways, I go on. You 4 spots.
I wanted to ask you during the podcast, but like and I guess you probably just answered it with like Ellie and Caitlin, like and Coach Hennis, but like who were the biggest influences on you, like in your life?
In my life?
Yeah.
Oh wow, you asked this question a lot.
You know what? We have to end this. We have to end this podcast. We'll save that question for next time.
We got a lot of content, I guess.
Yeah, no, we did. We did go way over. Thank you guys so much for listening. Savannah, that was amazing. I'm sure your stories are going to touch so many people. Super inspiring. I enjoyed it so much, and I can't wait to chat with you again. If you are still listening, thank you so much. You're a real one.
Thank you.
Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Go Pat.
Go.
do, 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 do.